we've come to the halfway point of our senior seminars. Our guests today come from the Blue Bay Police Department.
Why don't we begin with a question? What is a sex crime?
Not getting any.
Welcome to the town of Blue Bay.
Hi, Mr. Lombardo.
Hey, girls.
So where's your hose, Mr. Lombardo?
Where innocence can seduce.
He started rubbing my shoulders.
Accusations can destroy.
I'm innocent.
You guys do sex crimes, right?
When was this that Sam Lombardo gave you the ride?
Did Sam Lombardo rape you?
Yeah, okay, he did. He pushed me to the floor.
And appearances can deceive.
Kelly said that we should do this to hurt Mr. Lombardo. She found out that Mr. Lombardo was in love with her mom, and that was it.
You skank! You know how my mom's paying you off? She's breaking my trust.
We bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Now they're getting away with $8 million of Sandra Van Ryan's money.
You want my gut? There's more to this story than you know.
After tonight, the three of us not to be seen together again.
After tonight?
I was curious about how you see things working out for you and Sam and Suzie.
Excuse me?
I mean, it's hard enough for one person to keep a secret, let alone three. Especially when two of them are in love. You don't really think Kelly and Sam are going to share that money with you, do you?
Leave me alone.
There is no case. Get out of these people's lives.
Sam, I'm really nervous.
I need you to be there for me tonight. We gotta stick to the plan.
There's no one to trust.
You can trust me.
I'd keep a real close eye on my new friends if I were you.
She's gonna blow it.
Don't touch me!
Wild things.
Two's company, three's a crowd.
Can I play too? Or is it just for boys?
Yeah. It's kind of an upbeat version.
So I don't have quite the adverse reaction that you had to when I made you watch The Room.
See, okay, well, not The Room. The Room is completely different from
right.
It was my adverse reaction came more from Here Comes the Boom.
That's right.
See, at least my trash is fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I have fun with my trash.
Just wait, because I still have the rest of.
Don't even get into it.
The amazing DVD package that consists of Here Comes the
what?
Boom.
Okay, here's an idea I had actually for those shit movies that.
Growing Pains.
Go on. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
no.
Go ahead. You want to do that? Then
No,
okay. No, okay. But I had an idea actually driving here about those shit movies that you got a pack of.
Yes.
Just to justify you spending too much money on 5 movies, which, by the way, you spent $10 on those 5 movies.
Yeah.
So $2 is too fucking much for those movies.
For
by the
each
way.
one, yeah. $2 per movie.
I figured out a way to get that justified. We do random.
Get justified?
We get justified. We do random Patreon exclusive watch-alongs.
Okay.
Where we sit and watch, and that's how. See, that way, you can get some money back out of it because I feel bad that you actually spent money on those movies.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But first of all, we're here. We're live.
We're here.
Hello.
Hello.
We are terrible at these intros.
We are.
That movie show. Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker,
Hi.
Bill Neville behind the gears.
Hello.
Thank you. And we first of all want to say apologize because our bonus episode, which we teased last week on the Black Dynamite episode, which you can find in the archives, go to newageInsiders.com.
We officially got Trejo'd.
We did, well,
Sort
kind of. At least we have a valid excuse for getting Trejo'd this time. And for Trejo'd, we'll get into that a whole other episode. But we were supposed to have Michael Jai White on for a bonus episode. We were going to talk Black Dynamite. We were going to talk Outlaw Johnny Black. We were going to talk Dark Knight. We were going to talk Tyson. We were going to talk Spawn. All this fun shit. And literally, like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, he was supposed to call in about 20 minutes ago, and his people got in touch with us and said he literally got called back to set.
Yeah.
It's like 1 a.m. in Romania where he's filming.
Right.
And
what is he filming in Romania?
I have no idea. That's one of the things I want to talk about.
What
the hell are you filming in Romania?
Yeah.
And,
are you playing Dracula?
And he got called back to set, and he apologized profusely, and hopefully we're going to get roles in Outlaw Johnny Black out of this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Third time's a charm.
Third time
I feel
is the charm.
Next week
we're gonna do
a Bono episodo with Michael Jai White because he's become our Matt Damon basically for Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
We apologize he's not here. We'll try to get him on next week. But moving on, because it is the 20th anniversary. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know we celebrated that.
You know what? 1998 was a fantastic year for film. Okay, I was looking down some of the movies that came out, and it was a really fantastic year for film. So I figured we start celebrating the year of 1998 in 2018, 20th anniversary, by going with a movie that was released March 20th, 1998, Wild Things. Wild Things.
Do you know that there are 3 sequels to this movie?
I do know that, and I actually have their IMDb's and titles right up here. Do you have them?
I do.
Okay.
Wild Things 2.
2004.
No subtitle. Wild Things, Diamonds in the Rough.
A year later, 2005.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This came out in 1998. We don't get another sequel to this movie till 2004. Then
straight to DVD, by the way. All 3 of these, by the way.
Yeah, no theatrical release.
These are kind of like the From Dusk Till Dawn sequels.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get immediately a follow-up to the very popular Wild Things 2.
They felt so strong about it. It was kind of like the 2 Matrix sequels. They just had to film them back to back.
Right.
Okay.
And then 5 years later,
2010,
we get Wild Things Foursome.
Possibly the greatest subtitle for a movie like this ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie, I was watching it, and the entire time I'm thinking to myself, what am I watching?
Why did Mike suggest this? Oh, wow. Okay, that's why. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Hello, Denise Richards.
Yeah. It was just an excuse to get Neve Campbell and Denise Richards to make out.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Wild Things, I feel, is a misunderstood film.
Sure.
Okay. Now, because it gained so much controversy around the sexual nature of the movie.
Right.
I was running one of my Hollywood videos when this movie came out on VHS.
Very fun.
And it was the most complained about video by parents.
Okay.
To the point that I had to put like a warning, almost like a porno warning label
on the
front of it. Like, hey, there's boobs in this. But in all honesty, it was kind of tame in comparison to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because you look at where everything is going, and people are just having full on sex all the time.
Especially now on TV, you Game of Thrones, anything on HBO.
Anything on HBO, people are just boning.
Shameless,
right?
Shameless.
They're just boning,
and those are hour-long seasons, so it's like you got 12 hours of boning.
So to have Denise Richards show up in an all-white outfit soaking wet, and you could kind of see a boob,
sure,
and kind of see her vajayjay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that's risque for 1998. Whereas, if that was on HBO, if this movie was on HBO, if they made it as like an HBO or a Netflix thing, she would have been straight up naked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 2018 Wild Things would have been damn near as close to porn as you can get.
Yeah.
Now, but why I believe it's misunderstood is because it's one of those movies that gets remembered for the sex and the nudity.
Right.
However, it's a very well-written whodunit.
It was very...
There are a twist, and you watched it for the first time today.
Yes, I did. I watched it for the first time.
There's a shitload of twists. Like, you thought Sixth Sense twist was like, ooh, wow. This is like 8 of those.
Right. So, to be fair to the whole thing, I couldn't get ahead of this movie.
Right.
I couldn't get ahead of this movie because every single time that I thought this thing was going to break down and I was going to get ahead of it, it twisted in a way that it was just like, oh, that makes sense. And then they justified it. They did a good job because that's where a lot of these things kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Is how... Well, we're gonna spoil this movie. And
by the way, I was thinking of that when I was driving here. This movie, that movie show, honestly should be subtitled "Spoiler Alert."
Well, here's the thing. I also believe that this movie is from 1998. If you told me the plot of this before, that's on me. right? I have been alive the entire time this movie has been out. The fact that it's taken me till 2018 to get to it,
you're welcome.
You know what I mean? That's on me.
Right.
That's on me.
Right.
So if for some odd reason you're like, I want to watch Wild Things,
right,
turn it off now.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of feel that about, and maybe I'm just smarter than the average bear, but I feel if you're going to listen to a movie podcast,
right,
and you're going, I mean, we don't hide the fucking titles,
right?
We don't hide what we're talking about.
You know what
so
you're
if you're clicking on this or you're downloading this and it says that movie show, the episode is Wild Things, and you haven't watched Wild Things yet, and you still listen on, that's on you.
Well, and the other thing
can't
too
be
is,
held responsible.
Well,
for
here's
spoiling
you know, I listen to one of my favorite movie podcasts is How Did This Get Made?
Okay.
Right, and most of the time I don't actually watch the movie.
Is that the guys from The League?
Yes.
Okay, Raffi, right? He does it in
I don't watch
Paul
the
Scheer?
Yeah, it's Paul Scheer.
Yeah.
So the thing that I like about watching that is I love hearing their take on this movie, even if I've never seen it, right? So I'd like to think that people listen to this show for the same, where it's like, I've never heard of Wild Things, but I think that they're entertaining, so I'm going to listen to their nonsense about it.
Right.
This movie...
Yeah.
There's one of the twists that, and it comes at the very end, that didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
And that is Neve Campbell.
Yep.
But
there's a couple things here. Now, first of all, you watched the theatrical cut.
I did. I watched the theatrical cut.
I own the unrated director's cut on Blu-ray.
Okay.
I actually saw this in theaters when it came out in '98.
Ooh.
I honestly did. And this was one of those holy shit movies for me because they did it well.
It was.
They did, and I think the first holy shit, because we run the trailers now at the front of the show.
Yeah, which is a good twist. Touch.
Here's probably the first twist of the movie. When Bill Murray's name shows up in the credits.
Yes. Yep.
I remember being in the theater and go, really?
Yeah, that's how I felt. It popped up and I go, what?
Because he's nowhere in any of the advertising.
No.
The credit sequence itself and how this movie is credited is very interesting. Denise Richards gets 5th billing.
It's so funny because I was watching it and I'm like, the credits for this movie are 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
And
you have that much star power under your ass.
I was like, wow. And you know, you think about it and it's like, yeah, for 1998, this is a
pretty stacked cast, right?
Movie. I will tell you though that the entire time watching Matt Dillon act, I wished it was his brother. Because I just wanted Johnny Drama.
You just wanted Johnny Drama.
Like, I always found Matt Dillon to be playing a poor man's James Dean.
Kind of, yeah.
That's just Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon is just a poor man's James Dean.
He's Deanish.
You know what I mean? Where it's just like, he just is smoky. He tries, you know what I mean? Like, he tries to be smoky the whole time.
But I feel in the late 90s, I mean, he had this, and then in the summer, he had Something About Mary.
Yeah.
He really honed his inner sleaze bag.
Yeah, it was really good.
You know,
but
the 90s were well to Dillon.
And so this movie is nonsense, right? Like, there is just...
Let's run the business before we get into the whole movie
right.
thing. Okay, so it was released on March 20th, 1998. Stars Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon, and this is how they're credited, by the way.
Yes.
And I kind of mentioned it. Denise Richards, who, in my opinion, is the 1 or 2 number lead,
right,
is credited 5th.
Right.
And this is exactly how the credits run. Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon, Neve Campbell, Teresa Russell, then Denise Richards, Daphne Rubin Vega, Robert fucking Wagner, Bill Murray. Okay, so this is now stacked. They had a very, I don't want to say fantastic, but a very sleazy saxophony score by George S. Clinton.
Yeah,
it was made for $20 million, came back with $56 million in the box office, and it was set in the basically the Florida Keys.
Yeah,
the swampland of Florida.
Yeah,
the stuff that Leonard Skinner sings about.
Outside of Miami.
Oh, even deeper.
Yeah.
Deeper. I mean, that's like, that's gator country, man.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it literally is. There was alligators all over this movie.
Right.
Airboats. It's,
It was weird because they also tried to build this world as like kind of like a Gatsby-esque
a little
like
bit.
world where it's just like these really poor people live near these really rich people.
You know what I looked at it? This is a very local reference for those of you not from Massachusetts, but I grew up in Linfield.
Okay.
I looked at it as Linfield versus Lynn.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, Lynn, but we have more money.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I felt. It was very, I mean, it's called, what is it called? Blue Bay. I might as well call it Blue Bloods.
Yeah,
but,
right.
very upper crusty.
Everybody's got boats.
Very, you know, I mean, there's
hoity-toity.
Bill Murray does a thing in it where we'll get to the whole lawsuits and the crime and all that stuff, but Robert Wagner kind of winks at him, is like, see you at the club.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray's just like, see you at the club. Come on.
Yeah.
This is one of the great joys about how Bill Murray picks his movies, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows this out there. Bill Murray doesn't have an agent, and he doesn't have a publicist.
Okay.
He has a telephone number with a voice messaging service.
Okay.
And basically, if you're making a movie and you want Bill Murray and you have access to this number, you call and you pitch the movie to him, and he just
calls back or not.
And he decides.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he ended up in Zombieland.
Right.
You know, they just called and like, fuck it, let's just try.
Yeah, right.
You know, we got the number, let's just try. It's how I interviewed Charlie Sheen once. It's like, I got a number, let's just try.
Yeah, we'll just call it.
So my guess is that's how this came to be. John McNaughton, who's the director, probably just kind of dialed them up. Like,
just called.
Hey, man, we're doing this sexy movie in the swamps of Florida.
You want to come down?
We want you to play a sleazy criminal defense lawyer who's mostly into personal injury.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, you want to just come down for 2 days?
And you don't have to read the script.
Yeah.
Because Bill Murray was clearly just being Bill Murray. He was ad-libbing almost every scene.
Yeah, there was nothing in that movie that he was,
and it was awesome.
For him.
Because that was such the perfect type of role to ad-lib.
It was, and it's funny because I forget the actor's name, but if this movie was made today, they would have just called Saul. They were the guy from Breaking.
Dave Odenkirk.
Yeah, Dave
Bob
Odenkirk.
Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah, it's they would have just called him because they were basically playing the same character.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this was 20 years before Saul, so that
right.
was...
So, but they're playing the same character.
Better Call Bill.
Yeah, Better Call Bill. So this movie starts out as a high school guidance counselor, Steve Lombardo.
Sam Lombardo.
Sam Lombardo.
Sam Lombardo.
Who is probably the greatest, he, on the surface, at least perceived to be the greatest guy ever.
Sure.
Former teacher of the year, guidance counselor, trying to really reach these kids as they...
How do I reach these kids?
You know, as he sends them off into the real world, so to speak. And he helps this one kid out who's kind of dorky, teaching him how to sail to like help him, you know, so he just seems like an all-around good dude. And you're like, yeah, this seems really, really, really like you're a good guy and I'm going to root for you this entire time.
Here's what I noticed about the opening scene of the movie.
The cheerleaders were annoying as hell and said the same thing over and over again.
But that's not the opening scene. I'm talking the Steadicam shot of a POV Steadicam shot walking through the halls, and the male students kind of giving sideways glances, but all the female students basically coming in their pants at that moment.
Yeah.
Over the sight of whatever is about to be revealed, and it becomes Matt Dillon, Sam Lombardo.
Right.
It's like, wow. I mean, I think the kids call it #thirsty.
Yeah.
But damn.
Sure.
Damn, they are looking for it. So he gets up there, and it's an assembly, and... of course, as we saw in the trailer, my favorite character in the movie, I don't even know his name. I don't care what his name is.
Yeah, he's only in that scene.
Jimmy, Bobby, I don't know. I know it's not Davey because Davey's the kid that gets killed in the Glades. But whatever. It might as well have been. So Sam Lombardo writes sex on the blackboard. Of course, eruption.
Yeah, high school kids.
Wow. Boners.
Well, this is a 90s teen movie, kind of.
And then he writes crimes next to it. To the
Oh, no.
Where we're introduced to Kevin Bacon and Daphne Rubin Vega, who are playing the detectives who also handle sex crimes.
In Blue Bay.
Of course.
Neve Campbell's pissed off about it.
Jumps right up. Fuck this guy. I mean, let me just say this about Neve Campbell and Wild Things. She was coming off of Scream, but more importantly, she was coming off of Party of Five. Yeah. Party of Five, she played literally like the goodiest of goody two-shoes type of character.
Okay, I've never seen Party of Five.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Good 90s melodrama. It's like 90210, Party of Five, Melrose Place. Oh, get the tissues and get some fucking tea.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
this used to be This Is Sad.
Yes, exactly. So very goody two shoes. Even in Scream, while Scream R-rated movie and stuff, she got to say fuck a couple times, but she was still the good girl. She was the Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween.
Right.
Okay.
Wholesome.
Very
girl.
wholesome. Now she's just like, it reminded me, her portrayal in this movie reminded me of an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry was trying to get the Seinfeld cast together for a reunion.
Okay.
And he was talking to Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she goes, I really don't want to do a Seinfeld reunion. I want to do a show on HBO because I want to say fuck. I want to say fuck on TV. That's all I kept thinking with Neve Campbell's character. She is eating up this bad girl from the other side of the swamp type of fucking character.
Right. And it's really good because then you're also introduced to Denise Richards, who is the polar opposite.
Oh, yeah.
And is like, I am going to fuck Sam Lombardo.
Right?
Like, I'm going to.
Suzie Toller was Neve Campbell's name. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. And so they...
And even the names. Denise Richards plays Kelly Van Ryan.
Yeah.
You don't get more upper crusty, I was born with a country club. Kelly Van Ryan.
Van Ryan.
Okay. Now, the unrated cut does explore in the beginning of it. There's a few scenes, like, this was one of, like, there was a period where Columbia Pictures, who put this out, was just releasing unrated editions of movies, which was basically, let's take the half an hour of deleted scenes that would have been a special feature and they were deleted for a goddamn reason.
Right.
And just shoehorn them back in.
And so people, if people don't understand the Motion Pictures Rating Association, you can release a movie unrated.
Just don't submit it.
Right. You can just release a movie. The issue is that most movie theaters will not carry unrated movies.
That was the big Showgirls thing.
Right.
Because they were insistent on releasing it NC-17, it was the first one to get a quote unquote wide release.
Right. And so because
newspapers won't carry the ads when newspapers used to carry ads when newspapers were a thing.
Yep.
But more importantly, theaters wouldn't carry NC-17 or unrated movies.
Right. Because it was so closely associated with pornography.
Yeah.
That's why they don't do it. So you can just release these movies as is. So yeah, the unrated director's cut of this movie is the version that they sent to the MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
The MPAA said cut this, that, and that. So they did, so they could get the R rating.
And that's always kind of that's also a fun little wrinkle because this was something I learned from Oliver Stone because when Natural Born Killers came out,
right?
Historically, he made I think something like 500 cuts to get an R rating.
Yeah.
And what he said was when they submit the movie, the MPAA doesn't give you, because they can't censor you,
right?
Because as you know, free speech, artists, whatever, they can't say you have to take this out.
Correct.
They just said the tone of the movie.
Yeah, it's so vague.
Deems it unrated, or NC-17 or X or whatever. You know, depending on what year it was released. So they can't actually tell you. So you almost have to go in and guess where you stepped over that line.
Right.
And in some cases, it's for stuff like nudity. There was an extra nude scene in the unrated cut where it was. We'll get there. But more than that, because it was a director's cut.
Yeah.
There was parts of it that actually fleshed out a few things.
Yeah, because that was
Kevin Bacon's character in particular.
Right, because that was my big thing with this movie is that it looked like we were seeing vignettes into these people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like you were walking through like a dream almost, or where it's just like, so this happens and then we move and this happens and we move and this happens and we move, and all of these characters know each other somehow, but we're not talking about how.
We're just not sure how. Now, first of all, I like the fact that the movie did a couple of things. They did a great job with the twists.
Yes.
Like each time a twist came up, and I remember, like I said, I saw it in the theater. I remember it being one of those, oh shit, type of movies. But what they really did was they wrapped up all the plot holes at the end.
Right.
They were like, all right, we're not giving you all the information. Even when you think, oh, I know what's going on. No. Even that's fucking not right.
Right.
We're going to wait till the credits.
Right, and
to
show
start
you
plugging all those.
The
plot
only
holes.
one, and maybe I missed it because I was coming down here and doing stuff. You know what? We'll get there. We'll get there. So basically, Mr. Lombardo, such a great guy.
Mr.
Lombardo, real great guy.
Yep.
he's getting his truck washed because that's the catalyst for this whole thing. And you have to know that something is
take
up.
my truck out in a dirt path. You can come by Sunday, give it a I mean, the whole movie could be a bad porno.
Right. You know what? Maybe
she fixes the cable.
Yeah. Maybe I would have liked this movie more. I enjoyed it, but I probably would have liked it more if Matthew McConaughey was Sam Lombardo.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Actually, do you know who the original Sam Lombardo was?
Who?
The studio couldn't insure him because it was during his rehab phase. Robert Downey Jr.
That would have been great.
But he was cracky Robert Downey Jr., not Iron Man Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, no, it would have been natural born
sexy.
It was Natural Born Killers Robert Downey Jr.
No, it was 4 years after that.
Oh.
It was like I've been through jail and I'm like fucking it's like Christian Bale and the Machinist type Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, so then
very crackish.
So then I go back to Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
He would have fit in.
You girls want to ride on my Jeep?
Yeah. Oh, make sure you watch your way the Mercedes is gone.
I fucked girls in my Jeep before they paid me to fuck girls in my Jeep.
Yeah, right.
While drinking wild turkey.
And so that's the weird thing is that, you
didn't feel Matt Dillon was fuckable enough, basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fucked him.
I think Matt Dillon's like a very sexy actor.
Yeah,
maybe it's because I grew up in the 80s, and Matt Dillon was he was kind of that sexy guy in the 80s.
Yeah, maybe.
He was like the sexy John Cusack. So where John Cusack was playing like the nerds in the 80s, Matt Dillon was like, I'm the sexy fucking pool guy.
You know what? I would have loved it if Kevin Bacon and Matt Dillon were flipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could kind of see that.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think you're just thinking that because we see Kevin Bacon hang dong a little later in the movie.
Yeah, and that was...
We know what he's working with.
Yeah, right.
Which is a whole other thing we'll
I
get to.
also find Kevin Bacon to be more attractive than Matt Dillon. Especially this Kevin Bacon.
I think that's dick related.
Maybe.
Now that you know what he's packing, I feel
now
it's dick
know.
related.
So I got all of the answers to the test in front of me. So I might as well take it, use it, right?
It's a bit more than 6 degrees, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely more than 6 degrees.
Fun fact about that, while we're talking about Kevin Bacon's cock.
Yeah, right.
This was actually the first movie he produced.
Oh, cool.
And he had and has no nudity clauses in his contract. And he felt that the way they were blocking the scene, Matt Dillon was going to be blocking his dick.
Yeah.
And they never shot a different angle.
Yeah.
So they get back and all the fucking dailies are of his cock. And he's like, well, I can't sue myself. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, right.
And another fun fact about that, there was a scene that was cut from this movie.
Okay.
And in that scene we're talking about, Matt Dillon actually joins Kevin Bacon in the shower.
Weird. I was waiting for that to happen.
And the director cut it because he said that was too gratuitous.
Yeah, of course.
That was too the two chicks are fine. We can give them a few makeout scenes. Two dudes, come on. Well, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, right. It was 20 years ago, but I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. And it was written in. It was part of it.
So Denise Richards sends her little sexy friend along.
Yep.
And go to the next house and
fuck off. I'm going to go get some.
I'm going to go get some. And so she goes into the house. She goes into the house soaking wet.
Yeah, and I continuity.
Yeah.
She sent her friend off, and while they were doing the sexy car wash bit for this, she wasn't that fucking wet. It's almost like she took the bucket and dunked herself.
See, well, that's what I imagined.
You felt off camera it happened?
Yeah, so we cut to Matt Dillon in the house looking for this coupon that he has to give them.
Sure.
And because
it was a school car wash.
It's a school car wash. Yeah. And so while that's going on, she's trying to get even sexier and just dunks the water all over so she's soaking wet and everything that's white that she's wearing is see-through.
Oh, yes, it was.
And so...
And then we almost black cut to
her running
down the street with kind of tattered and torn shirts,
but more dejected.
She was definitely upset about something,
but less rapey and more shot down. I felt.
Well, here's what
It was very ambiguous.
In repeat viewings of this movie, what you realize is this whole scene. Is about the two kids playing basketball.
Right.
Because they're the witnesses.
Right.
They saw the two girls being sexy, and they were like, hey, I don't know what's happening in my pants yet because I'm too young, but this is fun.
Yeah,
and then they see her tearing ass down the fucking street, like, you know, a little weepy eyed with a fucked up shirt,
Right.
and, you know, all tattered and whatnot. So that's what this scene's about.
Right.
Them.
Right.
Moving along.
And yeah, but and it just gives you a little, it gives you doubt, right? Because
what happened?
Because
we don't know yet.
We don't know.
What
And
happened?
so
Did he turn her down?
Right. And
why is her shirt fucked up?
See, but everything that has gone on up until that point, like, she's trying to get in his car alone.
Yeah.
And so he invites the boy along so that he's got like a buffer, right? And so for the audience, it makes it sound like
you also you look at that in hindsight, but if you're just sitting there watching it, like you said, guidance counselor Sam Lombardo is like the nicest guy in the world. Hey, Jimmy, you want to throw your bike in my trunk?
Right. Yeah, right. But that's how it feels. It feels like
he's just being a nice dude.
He's being a nice dude. He's giving both the kids a ride.
Right.
But
he even offers one to Suzie.
Right. And he's giving himself a buffer. Right. And so that if...
Buffers. Family's got a lot of buffers there.
Yeah.
It's Godfather
so,
2.
So that if the police go and question the boy, right? You know, if
I'm absolved.
Right, but yeah, because it's just like, oh, he would never do that.
The only sexy thing happening was her mom came out on the balcony in her underwear.
In her underwear.
By the way.
Yeah.
By the way, Miss Teresa Russell, Skinamax fucking classic.
I know.
Oh my God, she is fantastic. And but again, there's that familiarity with them in that interaction where it's like, hey, Sam, come on up and have a drink. You feel like he's been there before.
Right. And so then everything about this, it's well crafted. I don't think it's well executed, but it's well crafted.
And it's also the tone of the movie. While I love that they set a movie like this, and there was a few movies in those late 90s kind of that did something like this. They kind of tried to hone the film noir type genre.
Right.
But also set it in southern Florida.
Right.
There was this one, and then Palmetto was another one with Woody Harrelson and Elizabeth Shue that came out around the same I was a video store guy.
Yeah, never saw it.
It came out around the same time, same sweaty feel.
Yeah.
Like this movie, you almost just feel sweaty watching.
Yeah.
Because they're so fucking hot.
Right.
And not in a sexy way, like in an actual physical heat way, in a southern Florida type of way.
Right. So now Denise Richards skips school the next day.
Yeah.
And when her mom is like, what's going on?
Mom is getting railed by the pool guy.
Yeah.
She is getting that good dick.
Probably the guy that gets screwed over the most in this movie is that pool guy.
I think he's dumb as a bag of hammers.
Oh, he definitely.
And we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. He makes a statement later in the movie that's like, wow, dude, you could just be arrested for this.
Yeah, you don't get this.
You don't get what's happening here.
But, yeah. So you find out that Denise
Her
Richards...
Latin lover.
Yeah. Denise Richards straight up says that she was raped by her guidance counselor.
Yep.
And so now...
That is double cross. I have a list of double crosses, by the way, in this movie, and there's quite many. Sam Lombardo was accused of rape by a high school girl named Kelly Van Ryan, played by Denise Richards. Number 1, double cross.
Yeah. And so now that starts what I think the plot of this movie is going to be. And that's...
You think it's a rape whodunit?
I thought it was a rape whodunit. Well, the thing is that I didn't even know... I knew...
They set it up so well because Sam Lombardo was the one that wrote sex crimes on the board. It's almost like the foreshadowing type of thing. Okay, well, he's definitely a rape guy. Those are the cops. This is the protagonist. This, I get it. Oh, shit. That's wrong?
That's wrong? Well, and that's probably the thing that was craziest about this movie is that I didn't know anything going into it. So I didn't even know it was going to be a whoddunit. I thought it was going to be...
Just a sexy movie.
I thought it was going to be a sexy movie. Well, no, I thought that this was going to be, when I'm watching it, it's like, oh, we're going to find out whether or not, what was that movie with Edward Norton and Richard Gere?
Primal Fear. Great twist.
Great
Fear. Fucking twist movie.
And so I thought as this movie started, that's where we were going.
Okay.
Right.
So Kelly was going to be the bad guy.
Right. And that was what was going to end up happening. And so we're going to get a bunch of things where it's like, he could have possibly done it, but I don't think he did it. And then it finds out
it's too on the nose too early in the movie.
Right. And so that happens. And then Bill Murray shows up and it was just like, wait a minute.
Fucking phenomenal.
But...
Lombardo hires strip mall lawyer Ken Bowden, played by Bill Murray, to defend him in his trial. Of course, the powerful Van Ryan family
Right.
has their high powered lawyers, which does but they're not the ones trying it because because before it gets to trial, Suzie, played by Neve Campbell,
correct,
calls the police.
Yes.
And starts this little tiptoeing around the issue.
Like, hey, I want to talk to you.
You guys
about
deal with
something.
sex crimes, right? Are you going to arrest Mr. Lombardo? I hear he fucked Kelly.
Right.
Maybe he fucked me too.
Yeah, right. And so now that was where I was just
What?
like, well, that was where I was like, okay, so we're still on the same path.
Okay, so he's but they also establish him as possibly that type of character because they keep talking about how he's banged every chick in Blue Bay.
Right, and that he wants to social climb.
He definitely because Meredith Baxter is his girlfriend.
Right,
and she is the daughter
of the lawyer of
the Van Ryan family, played by the great Robert Wagner.
Yes,
number 2.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Robert fucking Wagner, dude.
Right, it was great, and
he's there was a scene. Okay, so now we've gotten to he's been accused of rape.
Correct.
So we get to the club scene, which with one of my favorite line deliveries in a movie ever. Robert Wagner dug deep into his 50s film noir crime type of thing. Your history here, Lombardo. And he actually thumbs his arm. Take a hike.
Take a hike.
And it's like, wow, yes. And you know how good of an actor Robert Wagner is. So it's like, that was directed, hey, go like James Dean type crime.
Do it.
Go like
go and
32 Scarface type of time.
Right.
Hey, you get your damn hands on. That was Back to the Future, but whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
was Back to the Future.
But he was channeling those people because it was set in the 50s.
He was.
You know what I mean? So
and
it was that type of thing.
And it was great. He was fantastic. But yeah, I thought that this movie was going in that direction where it was like, so these two girls are trying to screw this guy over.
So you still thought that?
I was on board.
Dead set in your head that there was no way that Sam Lombardo was actually a rapist.
Well, because I thought I didn't know what the ending was going to be.
Right.
But I thought that that's the movie I was watching.
Okay.
Is that this
fair enough?
This movie is about this powerful family trying to ruin this guy.
Okay.
Right? And I thought that the drama was going to come in because the daughter made up the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So the powerful mother is trying to ruin this innocent guy's life.
The twist came from me in this one situation. I completely was on board with Kelly Van Ryan feeling rejected by Sam Lombardo. Okay, she's going to make some shit up.
Correct.
Her mom obviously has some weird relationship, so she's got heat with him as well.
Right.
But adding Suzie to the mix kind of threw me.
Right.
And I think they kind of, almost on purpose, threw the Bill Murray lawyer in as a comic relief to kind of like distract from everything else.
Yeah.
It's like, that's Bill fucking Murray.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And
like he shows up to his house and Matt Dillon has a fucking harpoon gun.
Well,
and he goes all Bill Murray. He's like, whoa, man.
Yeah, well, the important thing that the Bill Murray stuff covers is the distraction of the lawyer.
Yes.
The lawyer shifting.
Yeah.
Because, he's going to get railroaded if Robert Wagner is the guy.
But he wasn't, because it was the DA.
Because now Neve Campbell gets involved.
She's involved, so it's no longer just a one thing.
Right, it's a big thing. It's the DA.
How many has he raped?
Right, and so now
I don't know why I'm laughing about
as we get later in the movie, it makes more sense because it's like, oh wow. There's a
lot of stuff happening here.
Bill Murray distracts that major plot point
brilliantly. By the way,
it covers that major plot point because and
you don't mind it,
right? And it's great. It's a perfect execution. And so now they're
Jeff Perry. He's the one that plays the DA, Bryce Hunter.
And so now they're in court. Neve Campbell's on the stand. And Holes by Bill Murray.
Bill Murray brilliantly poking excessive amounts of holes into Neve Campbell's story. Excuse me, Miss Toller.
Yeah, right.
And I love I would love Bill Murray, even if I got convicted, I would love to almost commit a crime just to see if I can get Bill Murray to represent me. Even if I get convicted, I just want to see him work a jury.
Sure, why not?
Because he worked it so well. Because he didn't feel he had a case.
No.
He was literally like, he was fishing. He didn't.
Right.
He was like, I have a fucking loser, but I'm a personal injury. Like, if you look on the wall in his lawyer's office, it's everybody has neck braces and crutches, and they're all holding their checks up.
Right.
He's a settlement lawyer.
He is.
And even himself wearing a neck brace.
Right.
And Matt Dillon's like, what happened? He's like, insurance people were kind of poking around. I don't need to wear this. And takes it off and throws it away.
Yeah.
So he's a shyster.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
an ambulance-chasing shyster who's literally here just to collect Matt Dillon's paycheck.
Correct.
Plain and simple. But you know what? He's there to do a job, so why not throw out some softballs? So, Miss Toller.
Yeah, you called him when this thing happened. You called him when
Susie's been in a little bit of trouble.
Right.
She's run afoul of the law a couple times,
Right.
mostly drug related.
Mostly.
Which again, we'll get to it at the end. There's something in the unrated version that really kind of seals Suzie and Kevin Bacon's backstory.
Okay, good, because that wasn't
seals
super
it.
clear in the theatrical version.
It's right at the end of the movie. It's like the button right before the credit scenes.
Right. Okay.
So we'll get there. But yeah, he's poking holes, and he's needling her. He's really getting into her, and she's, again, Neve Campbell going for it.
Yeah.
Cursing up a storm on the stand.
Yeah.
Getting yelled at. Oh, fucking. Blah, 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 blah. It's
right.
Like, all right, she just wants to say fuck at this point.
Yeah, but then totally outs the story.
Totally cops to it.
Yeah.
She was and also reveals another twist that Sam, Matt Dillon, was fucking Denise Richards' mom.
Right.
So, because she's like, he was pissed that she was fucking his mom, so she said, let's get back at Mr. Lombardo and let's set this whole thing. Denise Richards, wonderful, you skanky bitch, and hurls a goddamn glass of water at her. And something about the 90s, there was a lot of courtroom steps newsreel type footage.
Yeah.
It happened, I mean, Natural Born Killers is probably the most famous one.
Yes.
But it's like, there was a lot of that going on in the 90s. From Dusk Till Dawn had one. There was a lot of that shit where it's like, they come busting out, and it's that smash cutting.
I think it's because live remotes.
No comment.
I think because live remotes might have been new.
Really just kind of caught on. So like, oh shit, let's put that in there.
Yeah. Like a local news were doing it.
Right.
So, yeah. So now.
So during the trial, Suzie obviously cracks under pressure and admits to the accusations all being false.
Right.
Kelly talked her into it. Let's do all that stuff.
So now that leads to the defamation suit.
Right.
Where now it's a lock. Lombardo is going to get a defamation suit because now that happened. Plus her pool boy drove him off the road.
There was that scene.
Yeah.
There was that whole scene, which again, there's two things that I'm sure you didn't pick up on because this was your first time watching it.
Yeah.
Okay. One, when the pool boy drives him into the swamp.
Right.
And starts whipping his ass.
Yeah.
Literally, he flips his Jeep.
Yes.
Mind you, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
But
because he's definitely not wearing a seatbelt. Nobody that drives a Jeep wears a seatbelt.
Especially, I've owned a Jeep.
Yeah.
I took the top off once, and it terrified me driving around my neighborhood in Linfield. I was like, you know what? I'm just not comfortable enough with this. Like, I'm not a motorcycle guy. I like to have protection.
Yeah, okay.
I like to have metal around me because I just don't feel safe driving with myself.
Fair enough.
So he flips his Jeep. The pool boy comes over, starts whipping his ass, and the camera cuts to an alligator.
Yep.
As you do.
Yeah.
But then, ever so briefly, cuts to a fucking was it an owl or what the fuck was it? Hang on a second. Raccoon.
Yeah. Yes, a raccoon.
It cuts to a raccoon in the tree, and the raccoon's just kind of sitting like, what the fuck you want from me?
Yeah. Well,
but
why am I here?
You have to imagine it was like that was just there,
and they
like,
shot it.
Like, raccoon, turn it on, turn the camera.
Yeah, shoot the raccoon.
Another fun fact before we move on to the next fun thing that you probably didn't notice. During filming, there was an outdoor scene they were filming, one of the many outdoor scenes, and the gaffer was fixing the lighting, and he noticed something floating down the river. It was an actual dead body.
Oh my God.
But before calling the police to have it removed, they just kind of pushed it over and held it and got the scene.
That's amazing.
Then fucking called the police. So in this all big whodunit mystery killing
there was a real
people,
body.
It was a real fucking body.
That's insane.
In the courtroom scene, there's a shot where they're panning the court crowd.
Yep.
And there's an extra that just spikes the camera and gives a thumbs up.
No.
Fuck.
I'm gonna have to.
We'll go back and watch it. But yeah, he just.
That's so funny.
I mean, that is such a fireable offense.
Yeah.
Like, you would get blacklisted by casting agents.
Yeah, I'd send you home.
But the fact it made it in means he got away with it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's kind of like I did a movie called Four Single Fathers, and there wasn't enough PAs on set to wrangle all the extras.
Right.
And there's technically 4 Mike Wendts in one scene.
Oh, because you're running around?
Because I'm in everyone's reverse shot.
That's so funny.
Because I just kept walking in front of the camera.
That's so
and it's
funny.
like, he's over there, and he's over here, and he's over here, and he's over here. Hey, you don't hire enough people, man. I'm just going to keep getting on camera.
Yeah, right.
I'm bored.
Yeah, right. So now settled.
Now we're into the lawsuit. Yes, they settled.
They settled.
As Bill Murray says, they settled big time.
$8.5 million.
Yes, the Van Ryans are very well to do.
And again, it's now the mother is so vindictive that she takes it out of Denise Richards' trust.
She breaks her trust. The scene where they settle, 2 things happened in it. One was that great Bill Murray see at the club part, where Robert Wagner kind of gives him the, hey, double gun, see at the club, pal.
Yeah,
see at the club, Ken. And he starts like washing his arms with the settlement, and just it's just Bill Murray. Just, I got a few minutes to chew up a scene.
I'm gonna hit
club
it.
Tummy.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it real hard.
But also the pool boy, who, by the way, I don't believe would be there. He's a pool boy. Literally.
Right.
There's a scene where he's skimming the fucking pool.
Yeah, right.
He's a pool fuck boy.
Yeah,
so
right.
why is he there at a settlement hearing? Anyway, he kind of just bumps up against Lombardo. I was like, I'll see you, man.
Right.
Like, I'm still going to kick your ass. Like,
well, and again,
in front of lawyers and stuff. It's
see,
like,
so this is where I'm still watching this movie thinking that this rich family is going to ruin him.
You still think he's...
Because now that we've proven that that it was all a lie,
right?
The rich family is going to get rid of, like, they're gonna try and take this guy down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I'm still there. Okay. It's not until he gets to his apartment or the hotel room that he's staying at.
He goes to a motel, which again in the unrated cut fleshes more about this motel out than we really come to know.
Right.
But go on. He gets to the motel after getting his $8.5 million settlement? Okay.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And so then somebody's in the room.
Jump scare. Fucking jump scare in Wild Things.
And they do it again where Denise Richards, it looks like she's going to be standing somewhere soaking wet, and then it looks like she just has a gun.
It's Kelly Van Ryan in the mirror in the classic, like, Jason Voorhees fucking jump scare. Turns around, and she has a towel with an object under her arm.
And it's like, oh, yeah, no, this is definitely...
Like, okay, how much money did you get? And they start doing the back of, how much.
Yeah. And then they start jumping bones.
And she pulls the towel off. It's a bottle of champagne, originally giant dildo. Moving on.
So funny.
And they just start making out on the bed, all fun and games, and then off camera, jump scare number 2.
Yeah.
The champagne pops, and it's fucking Suzie Toll or Neve Campbell coming out of left field going, what's 8.5 divided by 3, motherfucker?
Yeah, right. And it's like, holy shit. So now...
That was a giant holy shit moment.
That was a holy shit moment.
Which led to a holy shit moment.
And so now they just bone.
This was the scene that... as I mentioned earlier in the show, running a video store, this is the scene that got this movie returned with a lot of complaints from mothers.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Denise Richards is mighty naked in it.
Mighty naked.
Neve Campbell, if you couldn't tell from the shots behind her, had a no nudity clause, and she stuck to that shit.
Yeah.
She did show up naked in a movie many years later, but much like Kevin Bacon, it was her first movie that she produced. It was like a very indie movie with like 8 words in a title.
And at that point, you're not coming off of Screaming Party of 5.
You don't have that kind of stroke.
You don't have that kind of stroke, right? If you want to be in this movie, this is what we got to do.
Denise Richards went all in. Up to also, she had when she was 19 years old, she had a botched boob job.
Oh, okay.
And before filming this movie, because she knew she was going to be naked without a body double,
right?
She had a rushed correction.
Okay.
And I feel the doctors did a great job.
They did. They did.
I can say I feel the doctors did a great job.
I concur. So now this is where Kevin Bacon starts to get suspicious.
Yep.
And basically starts going all in crazy detective.
He really just kind of throws the rule book out the window.
He starts filming them, which turns into child pornography, I'm assuming.
If you're being literal about it, yes, they were high school students. We're not sure what
I
year.
don't know.
Actually, well, you know what?
They're seniors, but
Kelly did say seniors, so that could possibly be 18.
But we're talking 17, 18.
Could be 17, 18. We're still borderline weird, and he's still trespassing.
Yeah, he's still trespassing. So
the unrated cut, that makeout scene in the pool went further with a second Denise Richards topless scene.
Yep.
So
yay.
You know, Google it.
So this leads to him, the classic, so now this is a heist movie.
Uh-huh.
Now this is the post-heist, are we going to get away with it? Oh, man, I'm cracking under the pressure.
Yep.
I'm cracking under the pressure. Oh, we got to get rid of this person. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's exactly what happens.
And he feels onto him, and he feels legitimate the whole time.
Right.
Kevin Bacon just going after him. He drags Sam Lombardo in, and this is what I loved about Matt Dillon's portrayal.
Right.
Because all of a sudden, and he even says it to the girls, he's like, I got to be playing the newly rich guy. I got to be schmoozing and all this stuff. And when Kevin Bacon drags him in, and right after that scene,
right,
where he shows the DA and his partner the tape, and they all flip the fuck out.
Yeah, because
they're just sitting there watching two high school girls naked making out.
This is potential child
pornography,
right?
And the DA flips the fuck. I believe this guy's a DA. He was trying the case.
I think so.
He was sitting at the table.
Yeah, I would think he is.
I mean, he doesn't have a title in the IMDb other than his name, but I believe he was a DA. Bryce Hunter is his name in the credits, so I'm going with DA. Why he's in the police station at that point, but I guess he was called. He must have been called in.
Right.
Hey, I got some more evidence on your fucking case.
Yeah.
This
is
because he did say earlier, "Bring me a case." So I'm guessing that's his role.
Right.
So when they come out and Matt Dillon's sitting there, and he's like, "Are you gonna fucking charge me with something?" And the guy's like, "No, you're free to go." And he's like, "If this guy fucking drags me out, I'm gonna sue everybody." Like, he all of a sudden turns into, "I'm gonna sue everybody."
I'm the sue guy.
He's the sue guy. Like, I got $8 million, motherfucker. I'm gonna get Bill Murray down here. We're gonna sue all your asses.
Yeah, because you keep bringing me in for this bullshit. The only thing that I find to be like a weird plot hole is,
by the way, Bill Murray bought a Ferrari before. Just to backtrack back to the settlement part, he pulls up in a fucking. He was driving like a Pinto from 1972 and pulls up in a brand new Ferrari after the settlement, as you do.
Right. This is the part where it was just like, yeah, of course there's going to be suspicion. This girl threatened and tried to assault this girl in a courtroom, and now they're just hanging out.
They're doing a little bit more than hanging out.
Well, there's that, but no, in public.
Hanging out with their tits out.
Yeah, but in public. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because all of a sudden they're just they just get into a car and drive off.
I mean, it was a bit later on. It was at night. It was a bit more secluded. They weren't being obvious, the two of them, but they weren't also being careful.
Right.
They definitely weren't being careful.
Because, this is when they decide that they need to off Neve Campbell.
They got to off Suzie.
Yeah, they got to off her because she's cracking.
They take her out to down to the glades where Davy died.
Right, and now it's this is where it started to turn, and it's just oh my God, Kevin Bacon is the good guy.
Right.
Because he's seeing all of this play out, and he's like,
but again, Matt Dillon takes Neve Campbell off camera.
Right.
We stay with, it's basically, the way this movie works, the way all the twists in this movie works, is because we only see it from the people getting played part.
Correct.
So it's we stay with Denise Richards as she goes to plastic up the fucking back of the Range Rover.
Right.
And off camera, we hear a shriek and thuds. And then all of a sudden we see a close-up of teeth and blood smattering across a branch or something.
Yeah.
Okay, Neve Campbell's dead.
Right. And it's just holy shit. That was the shocking part to me, where it's oh wow, they murdered that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's wow, yeah, it kind of drives home the fact that, yeah,
Kevin Bacon is right.
Kevin Bacon's the good guy in this.
He's the good dude.
And he tried to save this girl, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, that's so depressing and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, depressing and sad. And so now you're rooting for Kevin Bacon to like get him.
Mm-hmm.
And because now you feel like Matt Dillon is going to now kill the...
Right, he's going to kill everybody.
He's going to kill everybody.
Because then the police, because Kevin Bacon won't let go.
Right.
He won't let go of this case, despite the fact that the DA and everybody's like, back the fuck off.
Stop it.
The
Right.
Van Ryans are too rich. Stop fucking with their kid. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But all of a sudden, we're down at the scene, and Kevin Bacon finds the teeth.
Right.
Finds the teeth, finds the blood, run it. But he's still getting shit from the DA. He's like, back the fuck off.
Right.
This case is over.
And so,
I don't want to get sued, but he puts his partner on it.
Right.
He's like, pursue it until the DNA comes back.
Correct.
If the DNA comes back as Susie's teeth and blood, I'll back the fuck off.
Yeah.
But until then, you do it, because I can't.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so she goes and follows Matt Dillon, who, again, it feels like it's a race against time. Like, can he save Denise Richards?
Right.
Right? Because now it's Matt Dillon's just a ticking time bomb.
But again, and this is more because I watched the director's cut. There's a whole other scene where Kevin Bacon shows up at the Van Ryan house,
right?
And Kelly's washing her truck, as you do,
yeah,
because you don't have people to do that. Yeah. But he's still fucking with her,
right?
And he's basically now flat out accusing her of murdering Suzie, and she just hoses him down. He gets all pissed off, and, rah, 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 rah.
And, yeah, okay.
which actually adds a little bit of justification to his aggravation when he shows up to their house again. No warrant, but what the fuck? If you're gonna murder a chick, you're gonna murder a chick.
Right.
And he shows up and goes into the pool house.
Yeah, where she's staying.
You hear a commotion. You hear a couple of gunshots.
Right.
And then Kevin Bacon stumbles out of the door. Clearly he's been shot.
Correct.
The mom hauls ass into the pool house, shrieks, okay, Kelly's been killed.
Correct. And all while that's going on, Matt Dillon has like seduced his partner. She's sitting in the car.
Which one now?
Kevin Bacon's partner.
Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah.
You know, so it's
he's a very sexy man.
He is apparently a very sexy man.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird because now she's telling Bacon to back off.
Well, after the Kelly Van Ryan shooting, Ray Duquette, we haven't even mentioned his character's name. We've just been calling him Kevin Bacon. Ray Duquette, played by Kevin Bacon, is fired.
Yes. And that's where I thought that this whole thing...
because it felt like it's almost L.A. Confidential-ish,
right.
where it's like he was on the right fucking path, and it's like the man's telling him to fuck off,
right?
Because it feels like you said, like this rich family is more powerful than the actual facts of the law.
So now he gets fired, and there's that close-up of Kevin Bacon, like real close, and it felt like he had figured something out.
Right.
And so when Matt Dillon goes back into the house and the shower's running.
Well, he's now bought a beach house.
Yes, because he's bought a beach house.
He's bought a beach house. A very nice beach house, by the way. I'm guessing I don't know where he is now in Florida, but it's a beautiful...
I want to say he's in an island somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a local guy, so I'm guessing Florida-ish.
Maybe. Probably lower in the
Keys. But it's a beautiful beach house.
Yeah. And
so he's sitting on the beach, sipping some daiquiris. I'm going to go back into my room.
Right, and the shower's on.
Much like when he went to that shithole motel.
Right.
And all of a sudden the threesome happened. He walks in, and these people just have the muddiest fucking shoes.
Yeah.
That's why I believe it's still in the glades of Florida, because there's swamp fucking feet.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody's got swamp feet in the islands.
Right. So he realizes something's up. But when the shower's running and he opens it, I thought it was going to be the mother.
Oh, very good.
Because
good keeping track of it. Who's alive and who's dead, who's fucked and who's not.
Right. And so one thing that really kind of stuck out was they mentioned that Denise Richards' trust was from her grandfather. So
another part that was fleshed out in director's cut.
So when they said that it was her grandfather and that she can't touch it till the mother's dead,
Yep.
I would assume that maybe the mother couldn't touch it until she was dead.
That too. Because it was a trust in her name.
Right. So,
it was Kelly's trust.
Right. So now they organized this whole thing so that the two of them can get this $8.5 million
Correct.
that isn't available. Right? And so that's what I thought where we were going.
So you thought it was Teresa Russell?
I thought it was Teresa Russell.
Okay.
Then the door opens and it's a wicked naked Kevin Bacon.
Hey, I love it. Hey, partner.
I was like, oh, and they're gay?
And that was the scene that was cut because it was too gratuitous because, yes, originally they were going to join in the shower, but instead we just get the turnaround and Kevin Bacon hanging full dong.
Yeah.
Just, hey, partner. Oh, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's like, holy moly.
All right, so they're in on it.
Right.
But Matt Dillon's still a little pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, killing Kelly, Denise Richards,
right,
wasn't part of the plan. And he's like, but Kevin Bacon, that means what Kevin Bacon said to him tells me Kevin Bacon went into business for himself for a bigger cut of the pie. Because he goes, the bitch shot me.
Yeah.
Which we learned wasn't true.
Correct.
So he went into business for himself, broke part of the plan.
Right.
And killed Kelly.
Correct.
So Kelly was supposed to live.
Yep.
And go on with them because they were all technically in love.
Right.
But now we got Kevin Bacon. He's like, it couldn't have ended up any better. They think Kelly killed Suzie, who he still believes is dead.
Correct.
So Kelly kills Suzie.
Right.
Kelly's dead. It couldn't be cleaner. No witnesses. Nobody's looking for murders.
Right.
Let's go split that money, brother.
Yeah, because I got fired, but I'm not arrested because it was justified.
Not arrested, but fired, and got, almost $5 million coming to me.
Right. And so now they bought a boat.
Well, Matt Dillon, I mean, he was the whole through line was Matt Dillon's a sailor.
Yeah.
He likes sailboats. He doesn't like yachts. He likes sailboats.
Correct.
Because he's a real manly man.
Yeah.
He's to work for his fucking fun, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah.
So they go out in the boat. He just got it outfitted.
And the weirdest part is that it's like, yeah, man, there's this weird tension that you two.
Oh, they still don't trust each other.
Yeah.
Like they're sitting there with that beer, and it's like they never actually,
Yeah.
I actually have beers here, so they never actually touch.
Right.
They just kind of go about an inch apart and it's like,
Yeah, right.
Like, are we going to toast or are we not going to toast?
It's funny because Cheers...
To big bank accounts.
Right.
Fuck your face.
Yeah. The thing with Cheers, like the origin of the
toast.
Ritual of not the toast, but the actual clink glass cheers is a Norse tradition where I believe kings would do it. Right, and the idea
Norse is in Thor?
Yeah, Norwegians. Okay. And so you would hit glasses so that
the Lord of Lightning?
So that some of my alcohol would get in your cup and some of yours would get in mine. So that if you poisoned me or I poisoned you, we would both be poisoned.
It's kind of like a blood oath.
Sort of, right. And so that's what it so it's like the fact that you didn't do that means you don't trust the other person. Like,
very good.
And so, yeah, now they're on the boat, and yeah, in the biggest thing that you could see coming a million miles away was
he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon's gonna get whacked in this one.
Right, you're in the middle of I saw The Godfather Part 2. You know what I mean?
Don't get on a boat with someone you don't trust.
Right.
Especially when that person says, "Hey, go look over the edge." Hey, you look over the edge, because holding a big wheel straight is a lot easier.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, yeah, you go grab that fucking thing. I'll stand
what
where
you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what you're doing.
Where's Jimmy?
Right.
Where's the kid you were teaching? Don't you have an intern or some shit?
So Kevin Bacon falls off the side of the boat.
Completely just goes right for it. So Matt Dillon
tries to kill him.
Knocks him off. Like he spins the wheel. The boat moves faster than any sailboat would ever fucking move, I believe, without any sailing knowledge whatsoever.
Yeah, right.
Kevin Bacon goes ass over tea kettle, and Matt Dillon goes to right his sail, basically.
Right.
He's going all full sailor mode, and he's like, all right, let me right the sail. I got my winch. I got the thing. Okay. Looks down the bow or the stern or whatever the fuck, and holy shit, Kevin Bacon has climbed his ass back onto the boat.
Right.
Now they have a little tussle for a couple seconds, and then Kevin Bacon shot
with a spear gun.
Fucking spear gun.
Right. I thought that Matt Dillon got it somehow, and I was like, wait a minute.
When Kevin Bacon goes, "You're dead," there's a brief pause. Who did you think?
So I thought he was saying in more of a like ethereal, like, Matt Dillon, you're dead.
Somehow Matt Dillon got a spear gun?
Yeah.
Who did you think? You thought Matt Dillon shot him?
I don't know. I was like, something. So we jump cut.
Okay.
Something happened.
Okay.
I thought it was a technical mistake.
So when it's revealed that it's Suzie Toller, Neve Campbell, alive,
right,
with a awesome blonde wig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I was so confused because
that's kind of the point.
Right. Because
they didn't clean up these plot holes yet.
Right. So my issue is that they wrapped her up in plastic.
Yeah.
Then they put her in the back of the truck.
Right.
We got a close up of her face.
Yeah.
And then they drove with her to a swamp.
Yep.
Dumped her in a swamp.
Right.
That's where we left that character.
Correct.
And so it's like, all right, how did you breathe? How were you breathing?
Okay, so to fast forward into the credit scenes that close up the plot holes.
Right.
She took sleeping pills.
She took sleeping pills?
If you noticed in the scene where she's pulling her own teeth out, she guns back a few pills and swigs back the champagne.
Right, okay.
So she took sleeping pills so her body would be comatose, basically.
Right.
So she was just kind of out. And I'm sure Matt Dillon wrapped her loose enough that she wasn't suffocating.
Yeah, right.
Because he knew what was going to happen.
Right, because they were there together doing that.
Here's the only real plot hole I'd never saw being closed up.
Right.
Because he kept saying that it wasn't in the plans to kill Kelly.
Right.
Yet Kelly feels that Susie's dead.
Right.
How was that going to work on the boat?
Oh, because she wasn't going to make it on the boat. So
you feel that?
So Kevin Bacon.
You feel that eventually Matt Dillon was going to kill Kelly?
No. So Denise Richards was going to take the fall for the murder of.
Oh, they were going to pin that on her.
So she was not going. She was not going to die, but she was going to be arrested.
That makes a lot of sense with what I'm going to get to in a minute in the director's cut. Okay, so Neve Campbell, Suzie Toller, is alive.
Yeah.
And blonde.
And they kill Kevin Bacon.
Well, you know what? This is what I didn't like about those straight-to-DVD sequels. We never saw Kevin Bacon die.
Right.
He was thrashing in the water, shot twice with a spear gun, but never saw the man die.
Right.
And I don't know how long they had been sailing.
Yeah, you're right. He could have drifted
Why didn't he show back up? I mean, him and Bill Murray should have showed the fuck up in these sequels.
At least foursome.
You know, at least foursome. You know, get some more bacon dong hanging in that one.
Yeah.
If anything. Anyway. So, yeah, he's knocked off the boat, presumably dead.
Right. And now we're back at another instance where two people don't trust each other.
Right.
Which is weird to me because
Suzie is playing the fuck out of these people, by the way.
Right. Well, that's the craziest part, but we'll get to that in the next scene.
Right.
But it's just like, wait a minute. So Kevin I mean not Kevin. Matt Dillon.
Sam Lombardo.
Why right now, after she just saved your ass, are you weary of this girl? Because he's not weary of her until she hands him the alcohol.
Correct.
And it's just like, so why is it in this moment that you don't trust her? Because in theory, she's gone along with the plan the whole time.
Right.
Right? The only person that went rogue was Kevin Bacon, and you took care of him. You know what I mean?
When $8.5 million is on the line,
yeah,
and you've been so nefarious in so many different ways,
right?
I mean, yeah, I'd probably be a little weary too of anybody.
Yeah,
you know, I wouldn't.
Well, especially when murder is involved.
Murder. But yeah, I'd probably be a little weary too. She does some poem. It was referencing the name of the boat.
Right.
I forget exactly what it was. I don't know if you remember.
I forget.
But it was basically some Shakespearean thing. Who did so and so kill with the what? And was it a spear? Was it a sword or poison? And Matt Dillon's just choking his ass off at this point. And he's like, poison. Yeah,
you're right.
Your drink is poisoned. Why don't you have another swill there, pal?
Yeah, and then she hits him with the sail.
Spins the thing. Now, what she said was, you're going to have to teach me how to... She was playing a little dumb. You're going to have to teach me how to drive this thing because in order to gain his trust.
Yeah,
because he's sitting there, he's sniffing his drink, and she's like, you're going to have to teach me how to drive this thing. We're in the middle of a fucking ocean, dude.
Right.
I don't know how to get back. All of a sudden, she's just... He's dead, and she is sailing like the breeze.
Right, and you find out in the next scene that she had a boat the whole time.
She had a boat. She's got a big-ass IQ.
Yeah.
She's smarter than the average bear.
Yep.
You know.
The only thing that was weird was, and maybe, and like you said, I think they kind of covered it up in the unrated version, but they only touched on the whole Dillon, not Dillon, whatever that Indian boy that died.
Davy.
They only touched on that.
Here's where it is. Okay. So there is a button on the end of this movie that wasn't included in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
It's on the director's cut, unrated Blu-ray. If you go buy it, it's like $5 at Best Buy.
Sure.
So, and it actually fleshes out Neve Campbell and Kevin Bacon's character. The detective, Duquette's partner, Daphne Rubin Vega, playing Gloria Perez, shows up to the Gator Pit swamp thing where Neve Campbell was living and talks to her quote unquote grandmother, as we've been told, Ruby, and Ruby brings her in and sits down and tells her this backstory of who Suzie Toller, Neve Campbell's character, actually is.
Oh, okay.
So, go with me here.
Okay.
Denise Richards, Kelly Van Ryan's grandfather, used to go down to those shitty motels that we've seen a couple times pop up in the movie.
Okay.
Where all the whores stay.
Yeah.
He went whoring down there with all his golf buddies. At a certain point in time, one of those whores got pregnant.
Gotcha.
That whore had Suzie Toller.
Okay.
Suzie Toller is half-sister to Teresa Russell, Sandra Van Ryan. Suzie Toller is Kelly Van Ryan's aunt. She is actually the rightful heir to the grandfather's fortune. Thus, why this is all happening.
Okay. Does that also tie into why the dad killed himself?
I'm living in that family. I would just go with it.
Okay.
So they needed something to make Kelly kind of be a whore,
right?
And kind of crazy. So fast forward, Kevin Bacon's character Ray Duquette is going down to that same shitty motel. He's a dirty cop that's whoring it up as well.
Right.
Kind of gets a regular thing going with one of the whores. Davey all of a sudden shows a liking to that whore as well. He's a swamp guy, friend of Susie's.
Right.
Starts chit-chatting back and forth with the whore. All of a sudden, the whore stops fucking Kevin Bacon, starts fucking Davey.
Okay.
It's all proprietary, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Kevin Bacon kills Davey, as was mentioned a few times in the movie. Now, what happened was, it was said that Suzie was arrested and sent to juvie or whatever the fuck for 6 months for pot.
Right.
It was because she witnessed Davey's murder.
Okay.
Kevin Bacon immediately busted her for drugs, sent her away, thus wanting her to add him into it. There's also that scene that has Neve Campbell, Matt Dillon in the car outside that shitty motel bar that I think was in the theatrical cut.
It is.
And she sends Matt Dillon in to now make buddy-buddy with the dirty cop.
Right.
Because she's now the actual mastermind behind it. And that's what I liked about the end credit scenes, how they tied all these loopholes up, all the plot holes up, excuse me. You see what actually happened when Kelly and her friend finished washing the car and she went in. That her and Matt Dillon ended up actually fucking.
Right.
And I don't know if your cut actually had her giving him the line of "No little girl can make me come."
Oh no.
Okay. So it painted Sam Lombardo as the character that Ray Duquette said he was. He was a dumb jock.
Right.
He wasn't the brightest bulb. He was definitely the pawn in the whole fucking situation.
Right,
yeah. Because he's sitting there and he's just banging away Kelly. Another actual added, I'm guessing since it wasn't in your cut, another added nude scene for Denise Richards. so he's just banging away, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna come, and he pulls out and he's like, what's that line again? Like, he doesn't even fucking know his own shit.
Right.
And she's like, and Denise Richards says to him, no little girl can make me come.
Right.
That's where that callback is.
Yeah.
The scene, how she got him to go, how Neve Campbell got him to go along, her sitting on his desk.
Right.
Dumps all the pictures while she was in the tank for 6 months. He was out fucking Kelly at the motels.
Right.
Of course, the line that was not included in your cut, but was in mine, was in your cut. It was, I don't know what came out better, that little straw up Kelly's nose because they were doing coke.
Yeah. Or
the dog collar around her neck. In my cut, it was, I don't know what came out better, that straw up Kelly's nose or the dildo up your ass.
Yeah.
Meaning, what the fuck? That explains the Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon scene that got cut from the movie.
Yeah, which we should have had. They should have been together.
And then
then rode off into the sunset on that boat.
But then we get to the climax of it.
Yeah.
The climax of the in-credit scenes. Bill Murray.
Yes.
Bill, Big Daddy motherfucking Murray shows back up with a briefcase full of cash and a cashier's check for the balance of the $8.5 million and gives Suzie Toller her rightful inheritance now.
Right.
Now that we know that she actually is a Van Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, that would have been better.
Right?
That would have been way better.
Right?
Because it just felt like she was the one that got off. She got out with the money.
And now you see it was a completely justified, while psychotic, still justified,
right,
multiple murder scam type scene. But that is the 1998 tour de force.
Yeah.
The only thing John McNaughton's really done with his career, I believe.
Right, I would imagine. Never heard of anything else.
It's, outside of an issue of Playboy, the only thing that...
Outside an issue of Playboy,
the only thing Denise Richards has been naked in. We have that to look forward to in this movie.
She's younger.
She's younger. She hadn't started cutting her face up. But yeah, it was... you know what? Actually, that's not true about John McNaughton. He actually directed Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, cool.
The what's his name? God damn it. Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
From Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Help me out, Bill.
I forget his name.
Michael Rooker.
The Rook. The Rook from Henry, Portrait of a Serial. That's what he directed. That was his thing. But yeah, he also did this one. From 1998, 20th anniversary of Wild Things.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
You know what? This movie, like I said, the thing that I probably liked most about it was I couldn't get ahead of it. I couldn't get ahead of it, and for somebody that watches as many movies as I do, that's something special, you know, because I don't get, I can see twists coming a mile away.
Sure, you've been bred to look for them now,
right?
I mean, I think The Sixth Sense kind of fucked us all on that one.
Yeah, and so for it to be as clever as it was, I don't think it was as well fleshed out, but I guess that was cleared up in the unrated version as opposed to the theatrical version.
Yep.
But yeah, I liked it, especially because I thought this movie was going to be horseshit. When I about a quarter of the way through that movie,
like I said when we first started this episode, my trash is fun.
Right.
Yours makes me depressed and question life choices.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at, where it was like, it feels like this movie's going to be hot garbage.
Yeah. In certain respects,
it is.
It is sweaty.
Yeah, it's sweady garbage.
It's a sweaty movie. The score alone makes you just perspire.
Yeah, and so it was better than I thought it was going to be.
There you go, and it's holding like a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's like a solid, middle of the road type movie.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? People and critics agree that it's
here's the other thing.
Flick.
Here's the other thing too that you need to realize when you're watching a Rotten Tomatoes thing. Don't go it by a letter grade system.
Sure.
Right? Go by the people. Right? So more than half of
people.
Yeah. More than half of the people like this movie.
Right.
If Bill saw it, he probably wouldn't have liked it, and that evens out.
Okay.
To what it is,
it's not
right?
your style of movie, Bill?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying by odds.
Are you into the sexy flicks?
Sure.
Okay, there you go.
So, naked Denise Richards.
See?
Yeah.
Especially young naked Denise Richards.
Yeah.
And Neve Campbell's back.
Ooh, baby.
See, originally, okay, so that whole the no nudity clause kind of fucked up a little plot twist in that threesome where Suzie was supposed to be all tatted up with a bunch of nipple piercings and stuff.
Oh, of course.
That we just didn't get because, we wanted Neve Campbell, which I'm okay with.
Right.
You compromise in situations like
Correct.
that. You know what I mean? You take a Neve Campbell back shot.
Yeah, right. When you can't. And you switch it out for a Kevin Bacon dong shot.
Exactly. Hung major dong on that one.
It's funny because you look at that and you hear, he never wanted to do nudity. And
he had a clause.
And he should have.
It was a complete fuck up on his part.
I know, but he should have.
See?
Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020 now. But it was funny because even after this, he did a spoof ad campaign about how all male actors should do nudity.
Oh, that's so
should
funny.
do male nudity. It was like one of those Melissa Etheridge dog commercial type of thing.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, brutal.
All male actors should, at a certain point in their career, show full frontal nudity.
Right. Fun.
All right, and that will wrap up this episode of That Movie Show. Coming up next week, we got another
Michael
fun
Jai
one.
White.
Michael Jai White will be here at some point next week. We will get him. But also next week's episode.
Yeah.
We're finally, it seems like it was inevitable, but we're finally dipping into our Disney catalog.
Ooh, very fun.
And we're doing WALL-E.
WALL-E.
Yeah. I love WALL-E.
I do too.
Bill, have you seen WALL-E?
Of course.
Oh, thank God. It's like the first movie Bill's seen on this show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Maybe Bill will chime in on this one.
All right. Well, that will do it for us. I am Mike Wendt. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Wendt. Liam, NAI, Liam Stryker. Bill Neville, Bill Neville, NAI. There you go.
You got it.
And, of course, New Age Insiders Pop has just launched on Facebook and Instagram, so follow both New Age Insiders Pop on Facebook and Instagram, and of course newageinsiders.com for all your fun and shenanigans needs.
And if you don't listen to or watch this show live, follow New Age Insiders on Twitch at twitch.tv/New Age Insiders TV.
So many
The URL has changed. It's no longer New Age Insiders Pop. It is New Age Insiders TV.
There you go, and we'll see you next week with Michael Jai White and WALL-E.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye-bye.